Hey, welcome aboard. Come on in, have a seat. So you want to get clean and sober and quit using for good. But your problem is you can't make it 2 months. Well, hang in there because I've got a solution for you. My name's Glenn. I'm a recovered alcoholic and I drank for 40 plus years. And by the grace of God, I've been sober now for over 5,000 days. Welcome to the channel, Aware and Convinced. So if you're ready to leave that old life behind and start building a new sober one, then stick around. So you're frustrated, maybe even embarrassed. You're sitting there thinking, why can't I stay sober for 2 months? I stay sober for a few weeks, but I always fall off the wagon. Just can't do it. I feel like can't never could. What am I doing wrong? What if this pattern of starting strong and relapsing isn't a life sentence, but actually pointing it toward the exact thing that'll finally make sobriety stick? I'm going to walk you through some of the common traps that I've seen and lived through myself. The little things that quietly sabotage us into a relapse. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, so grab a coffee or whatever you're drinking, settle in, and let's get started. First off, I want you to know you're not alone in this. I've been exactly where you are. I'd get 30, maybe 45 days, feel like a champion, and then bam! Something small would set me off and I'd be right back at day one, feeling like a total failure. It's exhausting. The shame, the disappointment, it's brutal. But the fact that you even ask, what am I doing wrong, tells me that you're ready for real change. And that's already a step that most people never take. Let's start with the basics. Are you treating sobriety like a diet or a full life overhaul? A lot of people try not drinking or using without changing anything else. That might work for a few weeks, maybe a month, if you're lucky. And then life hits and you're right back drinking or using again. Now, this is important to hear. Sobriety isn't just about removing the substance that you think you need. It's about building a new way of living that doesn't need it. Think about your daily routine. What does your average day look like right now? If it's the same routine that you had when you were using, same people, same places, same stress? If so, you're basically swimming upstream with lead weights. Now, I used to wake up, scroll my phone, go to work, come home, feel restless, and hunt for my escape again. When I finally got honest, I realized that my entire environment was built around using. I had to rebuild it piece by piece. So, what sets you off? For me, it was Friday nights. Friends calling or texting, hey, come on over, we're having a party. That's perfect because I used to celebrate everything. So what's the solution? Be brutally honest. Then make a plan for each and every Friday night. Not drinking or using isn't a plan. A plan is Friday night, go to a meeting, hit the gym, then call my sponsor on the way home. Specific beats vague every time. If you're going to go out, make sure it's with people that have sober time. Now, what about your meetings? Are you actually going? And more importantly, are you participating? Sitting in the back with your arms crossed, counting the minutes until you can leave, won't cut it. I did that for months. Got my white chip, felt good, then relapsed. When I started raising my hand and sharing honestly and sticking around afterwards to talk to people, things started to shift. Find a group where you feel comfortable. Try different ones. AA, NA, Celebrate Recovery, whatever fits. Online meetings count too. Try a Zoom meeting. Sponsorship is a huge part of putting some time together. Going it alone is why a lot of us can't get past that 2-month mark. A sponsor isn't just someone who has time. It's someone who's worked the steps and can call you out when you need it. Now, I resisted this for the longest time. I don't need a babysitter. I don't need someone to answer to. Well, it turns out I did. I needed guidance, accountability, and someone who'd been through the exact same battles as me. Try asking this question at your next meeting. Excuse me, I'm looking for a sponsor. Is anyone available? Then take the leap. Now, here's a big question for you. Are you working the steps or just reading about them? Step 1, admitting we're powerless. It sounds simple, but most of us halfway do it. I admitted I had a problem, but I still thought I could control it this time. Full surrender is different. Write it out. What exactly are you powerless over? How has it affected your life? Be specific. That inventory process in step 4, yeah, it's painful, but it's where freedom starts. You can't keep carrying all that old baggage and expect to stay sober. That voice in your head, the one that says, I deserve this, or just one won't matter. That voice is loud in the beginning. You have to learn to answer it back. Play the tape all the way through. Don't stop at the fun part. Go to the hangover, the shame, the broken promises, the damage. I kept a note in my phone called The Real Story with bullet points of my worst moments. And when that feeling hit and I told myself it was okay to relapse, nobody will ever know. Well, that's when I'd read that list. Another thing to think about is boredom. It's a silent killer, especially early in sobriety. Everything looks gray because your brain isn't getting that dopamine anymore. It's temporary, but you have to fill the time with new things, safe things. What did you love doing before your addiction took over? What did you do? Fishing, drawing, sports, music, reading? Schedule something every single day that gives you a little win. Even a 20-minute walk with a podcast. Those small pleasures start to add up and your brain begins to find joy again without substances. Hey, let's talk about relationships. These can be tricky too. Some people in your life probably enabled you or partied with you, maybe even family members. You might need some distance for a while, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you hate them. It means you're protecting yourself from something deadly. Tell them honestly, look, I'm working on getting clean and sober, and for now, I need space away from situations with alcohol or drugs. Family and real friends will respect it. The ones who don't, that tells you something too. Of course, when you're dealing with family, yeah, it can be hard. They might pressure you, doubt you, or bring up old resentments. Have your boundaries ready. You don't have to attend every family function that has an open bar, You can leave early. You can say, hey, I'm not drinking tonight. And you don't have to explain anything to anyone. Now let's talk about relapse itself. If you've been stuck in this cycle of in and out, getting close to 2 months and then slipping, look at the pattern. What happened right before each relapse? Same situation, same emotion, same day of the week? Write them down. Relapse isn't random. It's usually a series of small decisions that lead to the big one. Cutting those small decisions off early is the key. If you're the type who thinks that one slip means total failure, you'll stay stuck. Progress, not perfection. 2 months isn't the magic number anyway. It's about consistent days, one after the other. Some people need to focus on today for a long time before the months start adding up naturally. Money is another hidden factor in your sobriety. Substances used to cost a lot. When you stop, you suddenly have extra cash and extra time. If you don't plan what to do with both, you can get restless and blow it on other impulsive things. So create a sober fund. Put aside what you used to spend and use it for concerts or trips, maybe hobbies, nice meals, whatever makes you feel alive without chemicals. Social media can be rough too. Everyone's posting their party life. Take a break. Follow recovery accounts. Sober influencers. People building new clean lives. Fill your eyes and your mind with proof that it's possible. Check out my video on the dopamine trap. If you have access to therapy or counseling, get it. Addiction usually has roots in trauma, anxiety, depression, and even relationships. Talking to a professional who understands addiction can help you unpack stuff that the steps, they just don't always reach. There's no shame in needing extra help. It's smart. Now, let's talk about one of the most important solutions for long-term sobriety, and that would be spirituality, or your higher power, whatever that means to you. For some, it's God. For others, it's the group, nature, or their own better self. For me, it's God, with a capital G. The point is, you can't do this alone, and that humility opens the door to real change. I fought this for years, and when I finally got honest and asked for help from something bigger than me, the fog lifted, and the addiction faded. Think about this. Galatians 5:1. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. How true. Christ set you free so you could actually be free. Stand strong and don't let anything like an addiction put you back under that heavy chain of slavery again. 1 Corinthians 6:12. I have the right to do anything, you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but I will not be mastered by anything. Sure, you're allowed to do a lot of things, but not everything is good for you. You might be free to try something, but don't let it take control and become your master. You don't have to be religious for these to work. They're about trust and action. Trust that you're not alone in this, and take the next right action even when you don't feel like it. So, what's really holding you back from putting together some real sober time? Are you still mourning the loss of your using life? A lot of us do. Did we have some fun while we were drinking or drugging? Yeah, I guess you could say we did. Until we didn't. We romanticize the fun parts and we forget about the consequences, the destruction, the pain that we caused others. Grief for that old life is normal. Let yourself feel it and then start building new memories that are even better. I had to mourn the party scene for a while. Then I discovered deep conversations, real laughter without blackouts, mornings without regret, and without waking up in jail. Funny thing is, those new experiences eventually outweighed the old ones by light years. Celebrate small wins out loud. Got through a tough day? Tell your sponsor. Hit 30 days? Get a chip at your next meeting or treat yourself to something meaningful. Those little celebrations train your brain to associate sobriety with reward instead of deprivation. Service work is powerful stuff to keep you on track also. When you help someone newer than you, even if it's just making coffee at a meeting or listening to someone share, you get out of your own head and it reminds you where you came from and why staying sober matters. I started feeling useful again, and believe me, that feeling is addictive in the best way. Now, if you've been trying the same things over and over and over and over again and expecting different results, what's that? The definition of insanity, right? If you're still having difficulty putting together some sober time, then it's time to try something new, something different. Maybe a 30 or 90-day inpatient rehab, if you can, or intensive outpatient, or maybe even a different fellowship, or adding therapy. Shake it up a little bit. So think about this. Why do you want 2 months of sobriety? Why do you want a year? Your why matters. Get clear on the life that you're building. Grab a notepad or your phone, write down the vision of your new relationships, your new health, your new freedom, self-respect. Write it down, put it away in a file or a drawer, and then take it out and read it before you think about a relapse. All right, we've covered a lot here. You might be thinking, why does that guy keep pointing at me? Okay, the one thing that actually makes the difference, though, the reason so many of us can't get 2 months sober, it isn't because we're doing everything wrong. It's because we're still treating sobriety as if it's something that we're forced to do instead of something we're choosing to do for a life that we actually love. It's kind of like the little kid who's told to make his bed. Think about it. He feels he's forced to make his bed. Not that he's going to feel so much better from making it when he climbs in at bedtime. So what's the solution to get more sober time without the relapse? Stop being afraid of quitting the old life and building a new life so full, so meaningful, and so rewarding that the old way, hey, it stops being attractive. When your sober life becomes better than your drinking or drugging life ever was. You don't have to fight cravings as hard. You don't have to. They still come, but they don't control you anymore. That's the secret. Not about perfection. It's about wanting the new life more than that old one and all the consequences that came with it. You create that new life by doing all the practical stuff that we talked about with the intention of falling in love with being sober. One day you wake up and you realize, hey, I'm not missing anything. I'm gaining everything. You've got the strength already. You've proven it by getting close so many times. Now, put in the missing pieces, stay consistent, reach out for help, and watch those months start adding up. Not because you're forcing it, but because you're finally living the life that you were meant for. Hey, if this hit home, drop a comment, hit the like and subscribe, and share this video with someone who's struggling because they might need it. Subscribe so we can grow this channel and keep having these real conversations. You know, you're not alone. You've got this, one day at a time. But those days will turn into months and years when you do the work. God bless you. God bless our veterans. Trust God, clean house, and help others. And don't forget that somebody out there loves